Ethan RC, what's up? What is up? Hey, sorry about the confusion earlier. I've been having some technical difficulties tonight. But I think I got it all figured out. I accidentally started the stream as a private stream, so nobody could get in. So I'm sitting here wondering for like 10 minutes, like, why isn't anybody coming in? I guess everybody's watching college football, mother truckers. So it looks like I got it figured out. That was dumb. Deuces Wild, thank you, sir. Thank you. It's a labor of love. There's still more to come. Hey, I just saw that today, man. Skyblazer, thank you. I just saw we just passed up 200 subscribers. That's awesome. Randy, what's going on? Reckham Roy, hello, sir. Reckham Roy, I've been working on the videos, so we will have you sent out in no time here. Hopefully this week will be the when the magic happens. All right, I'm just updating Facebook here real quick, so we get the right stream going on. I'm gonna delete this other post. You're about to delete this, but delete. All right. Beatrice Schilling, Ethan RC, Randy, Deuces Wild, Reckham Roy, all my favorite folks are here. Thank you guys for tuning in. I did get the link, Reckham. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Sorry, Mark. My keyboard's loud. Bloodso, what's going on? All right, guys. So it has been a crazy last week in the world of RC. So we've got, official announcements now of the T33 that we talked about last week, and now we have the announcement for this P51 from eFlight, man, and it has caused some controversy. Man, there are so many people out there that are really pissed that how dare eFlight re-release this FMS plane that's nothing like the FMS plane. It's bigger. It's built way different. It's got completely different electronics and servos. It's not the same plane at all. But people are pissed. And look, I get it, man. Some people are not happy because it costs a lot of money, man. $500 is a lot to burn on a big warbird like that. But man, I got to tell you, I'm excited about it. I'm getting one as soon as I can. Bledsoe, that's no secret, man. Everything that comes out of eFlight is pretty much an FMS plane, and it has been for years. Yeah, Josh. We're going to go and frickin' pound down on the Horizon doors in Chicago. We're going to Illinois. We're going to frickin' barn burn our way into that place and like raise Cain. How dare you release that thing at $500? Turds. Yep, that's how I feel about it. I think it's an awesome, awesome airplane. And there will definitely be one showing up here behind me. Right now, I got this P-47 because that's just like, that's a good default go-to bird when I got no airplanes to talk about for the show. None that I actually possess. But man, I tell you what, I like that P-51. I like it a lot. Mr. Jackson, RC Aviation. Man, I got no theme songs, but Jackson RC, what's up? Hold on a second, guys. All right. So, can y'all tell that I got lights? I told y'all I was getting some lights. I told y'all I was getting some lights for the studio. I got them. I think the camera actually looks a lot better because it's not having to dumb down the like the lux rating of the camera, so it's actually showing everything in high resolution, so you can actually count the number of white hairs that are growing in a beard that I have this week. Yeah, you know, the sun really doesn't come out that much right now. Fred Barron's RC, thank you for coming, sir. Thank you for coming. So, yeah, outside of what the beard wild bill, it only grows for so long, and then I get bored with it and cut it off, and I'll go clean shaven for a couple of weeks. Gooniac, how you doing, sir? Big Ray, what you doing tonight, Ray? You soldering up some afterburners? You found me a green one yet? Oh, I forgot. On my fancy lights, I got them. I got them all app enabled, you know, so I can turn down the lights with my app. Oh. Maybe I can look like it. Maybe I can make it look like I have a better tan. Yeah. I don't have any other smart shit in my whole house, but the lights here shining on me to make the camera look better. Man, those are smart. Nice, Gooniac, nice. Oh, all right. So, tonight I want to talk about um, something a little different. You know, I think that, you know, that this nice P-51 that E-Flight has announced has kind of got me thinking back to, you know, the days when I was building a lot of custom planes. And sorry, I'm not like, you know, looking directly at the camera. I'm like staring at all these monitors. I got like a whole, you know, a monitor over here and a monitor over there and all kinds of weird stuff going on. So what it got me to thinking about like the days when I was building flight test planes and like the foam board crafts, custom airplanes, maybe looking at upgrading a plane or taking a plane with no power plant at all and trying to figure out like, well, hey, what do I need, you know, as far as a motor and a prop for this? particular plane. And I remember, and that's been a couple, 2, 3 years ago now. I was using a tool back then called eCalc. And it got me thinking again, like, well, hey, there's all kinds of folks out there that, that make recommendations on airplanes, but they're not really doing anything. They're just kind of throwing some BS out there and saying, hey, I bet we can, take this ESC and upgrade it, and then we'll be able to run, 4S in this airplane. But, how do you know for sure? How do you know for sure that the motor that you're running and the battery combination that you're running, the motor, the ESC, the prop that you're installing, how do you know how it's all going to work together? It's not just a lucky guess. Now, there's certainly some tools that you can use. You can use current meters like they have available. I mean, they're all over the place, where you can plug a current meter in line between the battery and the ESC, and that will tell you how much current you're pulling off the battery. Which that's a nice tool to use if you have one. You can put your airplane in some stirrups and just rev the motor up with whatever prop you got on there and see what the current is that's getting pulled through the ESC, and that does help. But there's a better way. There's a better way to do this, where it takes, it's kind of like when if I'm building a cabinet or something, just throwing a hypothetical out there. If I'm building a cabinet and I want it to fit in my kitchen, I'm not just going to go and buy a bunch of wood, and start putting the cabinet together and hope that it all fits. Before I ever bring the thing into the house, I'm going to go up there, I'm going to get a measuring tape, and I'm going to measure all of the walls and make sure that I'm buying all the right parts and pieces and the right number of cabinet doors, so I'm not wasting a lot of money and I'm not wasting a lot of time and building something that could potentially be hazardous. Right, and that's what this tool that I want to share with you guys is. It is the ultimate measuring tape for people that want to either upgrade a plane beyond its current, beyond the power system that it has already. Like, say you've got a 3S airplane and it's not quite as fast as you would like it to be, so you want to upgrade it to 4S. This will help you get the right ESC, the right battery, the right motor, the right prop combination to make sure that you've got the right amount of thrust for the weight of the airframe, that you've got an ESC that's going to be able to have enough headroom to handle that amount of current that's being drawn, that you've got the right motor installed, and it's going to be, it's the way that in our world of RC, you can do the measure twice, cut once type of mentality. And the name of that tool is eCalc. Randy, I don't even know how to do 3D. All right, so I'm going to go back and look in. I'm looking at the chat a little bit, backing it up, fellas. Ollie Nation, the landing gear replacement tips, that is 100% on the house. You get a blue wrench. Thanks for showing up tonight. Yeah, man, that's what I do. I like to share the experience that I get when I find a better way to do something, or I find some other tips that haven't been very well documented. I'm always going to get those down, document them in video, and share them with the with the community, because I feel like that's it's my civic duty to share the love for the hobby and help people get more out of their airplanes. You're right, Wild Bill. It would be a difficult time building a P51 of that size with that power plant and of that quality for less than $500. You know, if you were to put one together yourself, whether that's a built plane at a balsa, you know, and not to mention the amount of time and effort that you're going to put into it. You know, I know how much my time is worth. How much do you value yours? You know, are you going to spend months and months, you know, designing and cutting out all the balsa and doing all the shaping and covering and everything else that's associated with building out a P51 like that, and then hope that it flies anywhere near as well? You know, for $500, I think it's worth it. And like I said, I'm definitely going to have one sitting here behind me in the, you know, within the next month for sure. It's looking like that's going to be, excuse me, going to be the next plane on my radar. Deuce is exactly a load watt meter, but you don't need a load watt meter. So we are going to do a little bit of a transition here, and I want to keep my face on this. So we're gonna flip this over so you guys can see what I'm looking at. All right. So what I have, what I'm showing you guys here is the eCalc web page. eCalc is a web tool, and the link is in the description of the, you know, for the live stream. It should be https, you know, //www.ecalc.ch. And it's a pretty phenomenal tool. Now, you know, they do have a free version, and the free version costs, oh, I think it's, well, obviously the free version costs nothing. The paid version, you can get it for as little as like $1 a month. I think you buy it in like, I bought it in like a 6-month chunk, right? And let me go through, and you know, I know that right now it probably looks crazy. It's like, well, you know, I can't learn all this, but you don't have to type in all of the parameters, just some, right? So this is what I want to share with you, is how do we figure out, you know, where we need to be in order to, you know, get the right ESC, the right motor combination, the right prop combination, so we can get the speed out of the airframes that we're working with. So, right here we've got, you know, general model weight. So if you look at the different parameters that are available for each section. So basically what you do is here at the top of the web page, you've got these 5 different areas. You've got general, battery cell, controller, motor, propeller. So you pick, or you fill out the parameters for each section, and as you have filled out those parameters, it will start driving the numbers. So you don't have to fill out everything, and you'll see that here as we kind of move along through the tool. You know, so let's say that we have this one motor. Is Bledsoe leaving us? All right, Bledsoe. Hey, man, thanks for showing up. I do appreciate it. So, what I want to do is I'm going to take a look at the eFlight Commander, because I'm wanting to upgrade my eFlight Commander from a 3S power system to a 4S power system. Somebody, you know, some folks would say, hey, all you got to do is upgrade that ESC to 60 amp ESC. You can hook up 4 batteries and use the same motor, same propeller. But is that true? Is that really the case? And if it's not, you know, what do I need to be doing? What is the real deal, right? So we're going to take a look at the specs for the eFlight Commander. Sorry about all the loud typing. You know, I am thrilled that the commander is on back order. It's on back order, and I know I've said it a million times, and I'll keep saying it every single time I see this. This is one of the greatest planes that eFlight makes. I say that, you know, with little hesitation. I am so happy that it's on back order because that means that a lot of people bought them, and that makes me happy. So let's take a look at some of the specifications for the eFlight Commander, because I want to insert those specs into the eCalc tool. All right, so it'll tell us, like, we've got a wing area of 550 square inches. So we can go over here. I think that it asks us what the wing area is. Right, and what you'll see is as we insert certain numbers, others will automatically change. Right, so there's certain things like drag coefficient and things like that. We're not worried about all that. And cross section, field elevation, I'm not even going to worry about. Air temperature, whatever. We're just gonna leave all that the same. But I do want to know what, like, my wing area and my model weight is. So let's see if they've got the model weight. Let's see, do they have a weight? Flying weight. 1,845 grams. And let's just add a 1 there. Sure, we'll call it 1850 for good measure. All right, now that we have that, and we also know that the motor size, it's a 15 size BL 900 kV, right? So that's an outrunner, 900 kV, 15 size, and we know that that's an eFlight. So let's go. We can select our manufacturer. Where is eFlight? BL15 ducted fan. Power 15. 950 kV. That is our guy. We'll say that it has good cooling. All right. And for the batteries, we're going to go with, let's go with a 4S 3000. And we'll do a 45C. That sounds good. Normal 4S. Fully charged. Max discharge 85%. That sounds good. And you'll see that, as we continue going through this, you'll see that each one of these parameters, as I add certain things, you know, that we're going to get, it's going to fill all those numbers in automatically for us. What's up, Ryan? Keith Christie, Tim Toutant, welcome to the show. Let me give a wrench here to Mr. Toutant. Add moderator. Captain Photon, welcome to the show. So, we will continue down the path. So for those that you guys, yeah, Dave doing calculus. So for those of you guys that have just joined us, what we're working with is a tool called eCalc. And what this does is you can insert certain parameters into the web page, and it allows us to basically have all of the tools that we need in order to to purchase the right ESC, the right motor, the right prop, to make sure that we're not going to upgrade an airplane, or if we're scratch building an airplane, excuse me, if we're scratch building an airplane, you know, rather than guessing what size motor I'm going to use and what size prop I want to use and just throwing a whole bunch of different combinations at it, we can use eCalc to get ourselves right on the money. We can get a very good benchmark without going through all those hassles, right? So it's, in my mind, it's kind of the measure twice, cut once mentality. And I'll show you guys the end result of some of these selections here in a second. So, you know, max controller, you know, and a lot of this stuff is like the type of ESC that we're going to be using, right? So let's say we want to go with, say, a hobby wing. So we'll go with the hobby wing, 60 amp, just for funsies. And as we select that, you'll see all of the stuff out to the right gets automatically filled in. So awesome stuff. And then we will go with an APC prop. And it's got a 10x47, you know, that's not going to work. I want to say that the prop on there is a 12/8. So let's go with a 12 diameter 8-inch pitch. And we're going to hit the calculate button over here in the bottom right. So when we hit that, all right, so all things being equal, when folks say, hey, you know, you can take an E-Flight Commander and all you got to do is throw a 60 amp ESC in there and you're going to be good to go. Well, look what happened, right? If you look down here with the stock prop, right, which is a 12/8 prop, we're going to be pushing 72 amps of current through the 60 amp ESC that everybody says, well, just upgrade the ESC and you can run 4S. I'm telling you right now, if you do that, you're probably going to blow your ESC up at some point. It's not that easy, right? You got to take everything into consideration. So, you know, when we are calculating, you know, what do we want to do with an E-Flight Commander, we need to take all these things into consideration. So, you know, yeah, I probably want a 12-inch prop, but let's see what changes if I go down to a 6 pitch, right? My current just dropped by 10 amps, all right? And I'm starting to get a little more reasonable here. You know, my temperatures are in the green, pitch speed's in the green, my thrust to weight ratio is very good, you know, but I still want to do something to get that current down a little bit, you know, utilizing the same motor. Now, what I'm seeing also is that this motor should only be run at 34 amps, right? So I don't even want to use that motor. So, you know, where do we go from there? I don't necessarily want to use this ESC either. So, I mean, we're probably looking at something more like an 80 amp ESC. So we have the amount of headroom that we need. You know, so let's go with a Hobby Wing 80 amp ESC and we'll recalculate everything. So at least that's going to get us in the ballpark of where we want to be as far as our speed control goes. So with an 80 amp ESC, I've got that. Now, if we look up here at the top, we'll see that we've got that red stuff. You know, the red writing is going to be on our motor, right? So now we want to select a new motor. So, you know, I'm over here looking at the chat again. So, yeah, we need to prop down, but you know, according to the stats, that E-Flight motor is only good for 34 amps, right? So, and these are all according to the manufacturer's specifications, right? These guys don't pull these numbers out of their butts. They have gone through exhaustively hundreds and hundreds of different motors to find the motor that's going to work well for us for our particular case. Now, what we want to do is we want to pick a motor that's going to run a little better. So who has some, Jermaine, welcome to the show, man. Who here can, just start throwing out some motor manufacturers, something that we may want to try in this eFlight Commander that's going to give us, that can handle this amount of current at around the same, at around the same KV, right? So we're still getting the same amount of RPMs, we're still getting the same amount of speed out of the airplane, but we want to, we want a little beefier motor in there. Throw out some recommendations to me. I'm watching the chat, guys. Let's see them. Scorpion Motors, John. Let's look. Let's see what Scorpion has. Right, so we can change the manufacturer over to Scorpion. And we're still looking for like a 950. So what's this? This is a 2212. That's a pretty small motor. I'm not sure exactly what the can size is. Yep, I don't think that that's going to work well for us. So I want to say the can size of that MPD Commander, they don't give you exactly the Power 15 motor from eFlight. Does it tell us how big the can is? Outrunner. Does anybody happen to know? Okay, Gooniac, it's a 35 millimeter can. So let's look for something in that 35 range. Well, here's a 3226. We'll keep looking. Let's see. That's only 500. So 32, we could probably make that work. So let's take a look here. All right, so that gets us in the green. Now the flight times, I mean, 6 minutes, that's still, a fairly good flight time. But, what you can see is that as we adjust those factors, right, we adjust the type of motor that we want to use based on the size, the KV that we're looking for a 4-cell battery. So now we're looking at flying this airplane with an 80 amp ESC. We're going to be drawing, where is our current? Yep, so let's drop that back down. Let's do the Hobby Wing 60 amp. Yeah, so it looks like we probably can run it a little lower, but that gets everything in those green areas that we were looking for, right? Changing out the motor, it's more than, more than just adding a different ESC in there. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be considered when you're doing this kind of work, right? And with that motor, we can keep the stock prop. We can still use a 12/8 prop and still be, right where we want to be. So it's going to give us, roughly 975 watts of power at a 24 amp load. But that is unloaded, right? So as you hold on to the thing, with the airplane, on the bench, it's going to be pulling a lot more than that. So I am pretty happy with everything that I'm seeing here. So that gives me an idea of what I really need to do to the Commander to move up to 4S power, rather than just, taking the advice of people that, I did it by just swapping out my ESC. Good for you. I'm a bigger fan of doing the measure twice, cut once method, and making sure that I'm going to build a power system that's not going to, that's not only going to perform the way I expect it to at 4S, but also not destroy, the motor or the airframe and light things on fire and get too hot, and just start causing a lot of problems. So we will switch back out of that and go back to full screen, because I know that this kind of stuff can get mind numbing. But I just wanted to share with you guys eCalc, and it's going to be available for at least the history of YouTube. If you guys ever need to kind of reference back to that to get an idea of how we used it, you'll always have this live show available on the RC Air Marshal YouTube channel. You can reference that at any time. Come back to the live show and kind of see how I was manipulating those numbers in order to to see exactly what the modifications are that I would need to make to the eFlight Commander to upgrade it to 4S without having to worry about the power system or worry about the the batteries getting too hot or blowing up an ESC, blowing up a motor. And you got to see kind of firsthand how manipulating some of those numbers alters the overall numbers when we're looking at things like thrust to weight ratio, pitch speeds, temperature of the motor, the amount of power that we're going to be pulling through the ESC, etc. So very good tool. It's an awesome resource. The free version does have some limitations, but like I said, if you go up to a paid version, it costs less than $1 a month. If you go for a year, I think it's $11, and 6 months I think is $7. So yeah, the 6-month one costs about $1 and some change per month. But when you consider the amount of catastrophic damage that you could do to an airplane without using something like the eCalc tool, and just kind of taking guesstimates of what's going to work right, or taking the advice of somebody who you don't know if they use one of these tools or not, I would say that it's definitely worth that $1 a month to give yourself the peace of mind and do the measure twice, cut once methodology, and make sure that you got all the right stuff. So GB Linden, welcome to the show, man. I saw that comment about the frictionless motors, and I like those too. Randy, I got you, man. And I think that's what a lot of people, there's so many folks that get into this hobby, and they just want to have fun, and I get that. And here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to have fun and destroy things, and catch your plane on fire, ruin a battery, spend a whole bunch of unnecessary money. If you can avoid, spend $6 to save 100, yeah, man. Right, Fred? So, the next thing that I want to do tonight, if it's still working, is some more super boring stuff, but fun all the same, at least for me. And I'll still be able to watch the chat with this one, but you know, I'm gonna take you guys on a little journey of oh, everybody's saying that they love Dave and Amy. Hi. Amy's right here, guys. She always is. She's never far. No, I'm not. She's never. That that thing's not wingless. It's just cowless. It's got wings. It's got no cow. So yeah, give me just a second. I'm gonna try and do something pretty cool here. Which, you know, it's nothing new for you folks. You guys have seen this fun stuff before. GB, it's just sweet tea, man. Um, if I've got to work the next day, I'm not gonna get all jacked up. I say that now. I did, Farmer Man. I don't even know where they came from. These folks that keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys, all of you. All of yous. Everybody everybody that describes my channel. Everyone that has subscribed, I really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching the RC Air Marshal YouTube channel. And we're just gonna keep going. We're just getting OBS disconnected. What? Is everything back to normal? Did everything come back? Yeah. I don't know what happened there, man. I lost freaking OBS cut out on me for a second. All right. Cool, Rich. Thanks, man. So, any of you guys ever, I think it did, Randy. Any of you guys ever played around with an NVIDIA Shield before? Deuces, that's a good question. I think that they would sit around staring at them all day long. So an NVIDIA Shield, that's what we're looking at here. We're going to do a couple things here. An NVIDIA Shield, for those of you that don't know, is an Android TV, right? Just a really fancy one that can do all kinds of fun stuff, and you can play games on it. You can do all kinds of neat things. But one of the other things that we can do with it, if it's going to work right, is we can use it as a Chromecast device. Now, for those of you guys that are familiar with Chromecast, you can watch YouTube on it, Wild Bill. Chromecast, if it's going to work right, I had it working earlier, right before the show. Oh, hell. Yes. Awesome, Tim. So I am gonna add my my little camera. Can you guys still hear me okay, by the way? I hope so. Video. Woo, excuse me. All right. So now, what I want to do is we are looking at the screen. Oh, Mary Boozer. What's up, Wes? How you doing? Thanks for joining us, man. You never get to talk to old Dave. we're gonna give Mr. Wesley a nice fat blue wrench. And like Wesley, it's easy for me, man. I only got like 200 subscribers. So you know, managing wrenches is nothing. And MSJ143, how are you doing? All right, guys. So we are taking a look at the screen of my trusty iX12. Not trusty Wes, just the trusty iX12, Randy. Right. Because I still have the so after the show last week, we got you, Wes. You are wrenched, my man. After the show last week, I went ahead and boxed the Havoc back up because I still got to make an unboxing and build video on the Havoc. It'll be the shortest build video ever because the whole thing goes together with like 4 screws. But what I wanted to do is kind of walk you guys through my process and how I program the iX12. And at least Wesley will get a kick out of this because Wes uses an iX12. And I'm sure that some of you other guys also use either iX12s or the iX20. I know that oh, who was it that got iX20s? Frickin' Colin has an iX20. Who are the other folks that got iX20s? People with way too much money. All right, so let's take a look at my process, right? So what I'm going to do, because my Viper, my Avanti. So let's take a look at all of my models here. All right, so here's all of my my models. I've got my F-18, my Avanti, the Apprentice, Commander MPD, F-15, F-16, P-47. I got my Real Flight 8 stuff, RV-14, Viper, Bigfoot. You know, we've got quite a few models in there. But, you know, a few of these models are set up. I mean, most of them are always set up the same, right? So if I go over here to, say, the Avanti S, which I am pretty sure has very similar handling characteristics to the Viper, it's going to have the same amount of expo, or I'm sorry, to the Havoc, the same amount of expo and stuff that I'm probably going to want to use. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pick the Avanti, and I'm going to pick the little three dots up in the upper right hand corner, and I'm going to duplicate that model, right? I am sure we're duplicating it, right? So now if we go back to model utilities, I should have an Avanti S copy down here at the bottom. Boom. Right? And we're going to call the Avanti S copy. We're going to go ahead and select that and activate it. And you guys can, you know, see everything, you know, kind of in real time. Havoc. What is that thing called for real? Like the Havoc XE or something like that? Something like that. And we're going to hit OK. And I'm going to see if in the list of pictures, so the pictures in the IX-12, a lot of your E-Flight models are already preloaded in there. So I'm going to look through the list of models that they've got preloaded and see if they've added the Havoc. Oh man, they do have that P2 Prometheus Pitts. Oh, it hurts my heart. Okay. They got a Spitfire. They got some T-28s. They got a Timber. What? Yep. They've got all kinds of fun planes. But do they have the Havoc? So there's a Viper. Oh, there it is. Boom. So now we've got our picture. I want to monitor. I'm gonna go ahead and monitor 8 channels. We're gonna leave it at category airplane, and we're good. We can save that. We go back out to model utilities, hit the back button again, and that's it, guys. We just programmed a Havoc.
Safe mode.
So right now,
Gyro disabled. Low high rates.
And that's okay. So we'll go ahead and start programming all the voices for the switch too. So I'll go into model setup, and let's go into audio events, switch change reports. We've got them in there. So switch A, that should be our gear. Yeah.
Gear up.
So gear up, gear down. Oh, wait.
Gear down.
Is it actually playing gear up, gear down through the speakers? Hold on.
Gear up. Gear down. Gyro enabled.
All right. So yeah, I mean
Gyro
that's pretty much all
disabled.
there is to it, guys. It's you know, it's not as complicated as some folks would make it out to be. It's a pretty simple radio once you get used to kind of where everything is, and you get used to the menu systems and all of that. Um, the iX12 is a pretty awesome radio. I love this thing. It's great. So now when I get my Havoc built, I've already got a preset in here that I can go to, and we'll fire up the model and get her running. So let's go ahead and switch back to this here. And now we'll get back to the normally scheduled show of sitting around and shooting the breeze until everybody wants to go to bed. All right. So now that we've got a few more folks in here, and we've got Wes in here, a scratch built 747 would be pretty badass, dude. I would watch that show. So something that I am curious to hear about is, since we're all here and we're amongst friends, everybody tell me what you think about the P-51. We've got more folks here than we had initially. What do you think about that new P-51 from eFlight, man? How many people think it's great? How many people think it sucks? Let me see some opinions. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some thumbs down. Give me some emojis. Let me know how you feel about that new P-51. I'll tell you how I feel about it. And I don't think it's any big secret. I think the thing is awesome. Mm. Yep. So Farmer Man likes the P-51. I like the P-51. I'm definitely going to be getting one. I'm not paying $700 for it. MSJ 143. I'll tell you right now, I like the 549. Deuces Wild. It's only $499, unless you want it with a battery. And in that case, it's $100 and something battery. So $549 with $100 and some odd battery included. Yes. MSJ 143. Here's my thing with the iX12. If you like the iX12 and you want it in a different color and you don't want to take it apart to paint it and do all the stuff to get it in red or blue or orange or whatever colors are still available, yeah, man, get it in that extra color. Get it in red, get it in blue. I know when I ordered mine when they were doing a big sale. They were doing like a step up to Spectrum sale. The iX12 had only been out for a few months at the time, and they were having this crazy sale, and they were selling the thing for like $500 at the time, and the regular price was like $650 or so. I mean, I saved a lot of money buying it when I did during that promotion. So but the only one they had on that promotional sale was the black one. So that's why I ended up getting black instead of like the orange one. I think the orange one would have been cool. Or the white one. I think that one would have been pretty cool as well. So the iX12 though is an awesome radio. And if you can get it in red, yeah, man, spend the $50 or whatever the extra price is, especially while they're all at regular price right now. When they go on sale and they've only got the black one on sale, get the black one. um, but if you like the iX12 and you want all that functionality and you want the touchscreen and you want it in red, yeah, man, get it in that color because you're going to be disappointed in yourself if you don't. $50 is $50. At the end of the day, we spend more on bad habits. So if that's going to make you happy for the next 3 or 4 years while you're using that radio, consider it an investment, and that I'm willing to pay an extra dollar for every month that I use it to have it in red instead of black. Yes, get it. Get the red one. Yeah, Wes, I don't have a Mustang at all yet, and that's why this particular one is so appealing to me, because um, I was kind of on the fence about a month ago of whether or not I wanted to pick up an old Crow, one of the free wing old Crows, and now I'm really glad that I didn't. I'm really glad that I held off on that. Because I do feel like this is a better built Mustang. It's got better, it doesn't have like the history behind it that the old Crow has, but it's got better, better everything else. Better construction. I like the way the wings go together. Hopefully those little plastic clips, like the plastic clips, are the one thing that I'm a little concerned about. Of them wearing out, but my understanding is that those little clips can be replaced. So if they do wear out, just replace them and they'll be nice and snappy again. So, that's kind of where I'm at. I like the P51 because I don't have one. I don't have, 5 different sizes of P51s laying around. I want a P51. And now that they came out with this one that's really nice, it just seems like a no-brainer, and the $500 really doesn't seem too steep to me. And that's another thing I kind of want to touch on, right, is for those of us that are willing to pay $500, give us a break, guys. Value is always in the eyes of the beholder, right? So just because it may not be worth it to you doesn't mean it's not worth it to somebody. I can give you the myriad of reasons that I think it's a good value at $500, or not necessarily a good value. Let me take that back, because the word value and $500 just don't go hand in hand when you're talking about this particular airplane. Is it a good value? No. Is it worth $500? I think so. I think that it's worth $500, and I'm willing to pay that for it. I don't think it's overpriced. I think it's at the top end of where it needs to be. Based on what they put in there. The full electronics package alone would cost you $190 retail. For the ESC and the receiver that they're putting. That's $190 of electronics alone. And then you get into servos and all that stuff. I don't know what servos they're using, the construction methodologies and everything else. Yeah, I think they did a bang up job on it, and I'm getting it. So that's that. I agree, Wes. I think that this new 1500 E-Flight Mustang is of the same caliber as the Flightline, the 1600 Spitfire, and the 1600 Corsair. The 1600 Corsair and 1600 Spitfire from Flightline are absolutely the best versions of what they are. It's the best Corsair out there. It's the best Spitfire out there, and I think that E-flite just hit a home run with making the best Mustang out there. Hey man, we're looking for everybody's honest opinions. I'll give you my honest opinion too. Um, like I said, I don't think it's a good value. I don't think that, but I also don't think that it's overpriced. I think that it's where it needs to be when it's not on sale. And if you were happy with getting like a $50 ESC, I think they could have sold that airframe for $350, and they could have made money all day long. Um, you left Mike Patey a message. I think they're gonna do something, man. Mike Patey wouldn't have gone to Oshkosh and done video clips with Horizon if they weren't collaborating on something. And you have to believe in your heart of hearts that what Mike Patey and Horizon are working on is a Draco. Have we seen it yet? No, man, but that thing takes a long time to it takes a long time to work that up. And depending on when they started working on it, like when did they start their collaboration, when did they start working together, uh, you know, if they started working together 2 years ago, I'd expect to see a Draco right around the corner. If they started working together last year at Oshkosh, we're probably still looking at another year before we see any aircraft come out of that collaboration, because of how long it takes to do the R&D, to generate the molds, to do the engineering, to figure out how it's going to fly, to do all the programming. You know that they're going to make it safe select. You know that they're going to have an AS3X system in there. There's going to be so much to it. Developing that landing gear, if they have a scale landing gear to what the Draco had with the articulating knuckles and all that, I mean, that's going to be an awesome airplane. But it just depends on how long they've been working with Mike Patey developing the plane. If at the time they found him at Oshkosh and they announced the collaboration, yeah, we're probably looking at something right around the corner. If they've been working with him already for like a year. But if it's something that's a fairly new collaboration and they just started working on that airframe like 6 months ago, man, we probably got another year to go before we ever see anything. The free wing F-104 is better than everything. If you like F-104s. So, guys, here is another question that I have. How many folks out there have the what is that thing? It is an E-flite Cherokee, I believe. And I think it's just 4S compatible right out of the box. How many of you guys have flown that thing, the E-flite Cherokee? The Hobby's Own Champ is the best plane ever made. Thompson's Hangar, hello, sir. Wes, do you have that same B-17 that Pilot Robert just put on his channel? Or he took pictures of it. It's a huge plane. I think it's a Hobby King. Um, it looks like it's at least a 2 meter wingspan. It's a big plane. Sorry, guys, I'm reading along with the chat here. Yeah, 1875, and that's a big plane. And there's so many planes that I want to get, man. Like I want to get that big, and I'm still kind of torn on whether I want to get the Beaver or the big Ranger, the the FMS, the 2,000 millimeter Beaver or the 1,800 Ranger, because I want to get a big float plane, and I do not want to get a Grand Tundra or anything else that is sold by Hobby King, uh, that is intended to fly. So, I'm kind of up in the air between the FMS Ranger 1800 and the FMS Beaver 2000 millimeter. Yeah, 2000 millimeter. Either one of them that I would get, I would want to do the floats on them. I'm kind of leaning towards the Beaver because the Beaver is a more there's a lot of beavers up in up in the Alaska Peninsula running floats. A lot of the float planes up in Alaska are the de Havilland Beaver. So, um, hold on a second. I gotta look at something on my phone real quick. Okay. So, Deuces, that's funny. It was years and years and years ago. Man, it was probably 30 years ago. There was a comedy show with a guy singing that Beaver song that you're sitting there quoting, and to the tune of the "You Give Me Fever," and I was dying laughing when I heard it. The guy's name was like Mark McCollum or something like that, and it was an HBO special. I won't forget it because the guy had just a lot of really good jokes, and never heard from the guy again. Great comedy act. And it just kind of, he just kind of dissolved. I mean, he wasn't like Eddie Murphy funny, back in the 80s, but it was good stuff. And I was laughing, when he told like some pretty funny jokes about he had a joke about and it was all him and an acoustic guitar, and he was playing a bunch of songs. He had one where he was pretending to be Elmer Fudd and talking about being a rabbit slayer, a guitar player and a rabbit slayer. um, That's true. You gotta get them under control, man. You got to have your beavers in line. Inverted pants with the B-24. Is that the B-24, the Liberator? Were they, were they mad at you, like yelling at you, like, that's not scale? That's not scale. Oh, they'll get over it. They'll get over it not being scale. Hey, did Kenny come into the show tonight? We should all congratulate Kenny on winning a $25 gift certificate to Motion RC from the Mary Boozer channel last night. That was a lot of fun, guys. That was a lot of fun. And Wes, I don't know why you ever took that bet, man. That did not work out the way you thought it was gonna. Myth diving. Big Beaver Gorge. Yep, so like I was saying, I mean there's still a bunch of planes like in my personal mind, you know, back catalog that I feel like I still have to get. Like I feel like it's an obligation to the RC jet world that I must have a free wing F-22. I don't have an F-22 yet. In fact, when I first got into the EDFs, my wife said the first plane that you should get is the F-22. I have like 6 EDFs now. Yeah. 6. Yeah. I've got 6 EDFs and no F-22. So I totally violated the demands of Amy and did not do what she told me to do. And Wes, I had a lot of fun watching that show last night. I thought it was hilarious how at the end of the whole thing you guys couldn't find like we can't scroll back far enough to see who the winner is. That was a good time, man. That was a good time. So anyway, yeah, I feel like I have to have a free wing F-22. It's a must have. Is Dave live? Did Dave's RC go live? Dave Marshall's RC is live. But, that's why I had to call this channel the RC Air Marshal, because, if I'd have called it, Dave's RC, it probably wouldn't have worked out too well. Huh. Tell Dave to cut his crap off. I'm just kidding. Hey guys, listen, I'm gonna respect my elders. I think I might actually be older than Dave, but I am not going to, to step on his toes, so to speak. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to find his show, and we're gonna put a link down here, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut this guy off. So, or cut this stream off, and we're all gonna roll over to yeah, we're gonna roll over to the other Dave and see what he's up to, man. And then we're gonna tell him that he has to keep this stream going for a while because I cut mine short. And I did it all for him. So here is a link to Dave's chat. So everybody, let's head on over to Dave's RC. Thank you guys for showing up tonight. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification button if you haven't already. Everybody hit the thumbs up on the way out. And let's go have some fun with Dave's RC, man. See you guys later. Have a great night. Are we back? Can you guys hear me? Awesome. So that was a little impromptu live stream from Dave's RC. But man, I gotta respect the man. I gotta respect Dave's RC. He gave me the Bigfoot. So anytime he goes live, if I'm streaming, man, I'm gonna cut it off. Thanks, Fred. So now we gotta get folks back over here, man. So I gotta do some work. I gotta do. Apparently, I never ended the stream before. I could swear that I did, but you know, hey, it is what it is. Yeah, Ryan, we're back. We don't die, we multiply, baby. It's like Bebe's kids. So we're gonna jump back into the RC Pilots Lounge and do another. Hey. All right. So let me pop out the chat so I'm not like looking way over at the other side here. And all right. Awesome. George Watts, did you just wipe out? Did you just wipe out Motion RC of all the T33s they had in stock, man? How many did you buy? Just one? Or did you buy all of them? I tell you, I like the Air Force version a little better than the German version of the T-33, just because I'm just not a fan of German planes. You know, of the Focke Wolf and the the Focke Wolf. Victor Shamulus, welcome back. Hey guys, thanks for jumping back over to the stream here. It looks like we got what 15 people back, so that's cool. 16. Oh, we've got more people coming in. That's awesome. We can't interrupt the Air Marshal Mondays, man. But you know, I will. I take it all back. So, you know, I will take it from Dave's RC though because I did him wrong, and I'll freely. The Creighton backflipping off a dumpster. You guys still have snow out there, Ryan? Um, did you have like a big snowbank, running up the side of the dumpster that you did some backflips off of? Or did you just run it right up the side of the dumpster? Nice, GB. Josh, it is. It's all live, man. We don't die, we multiply, baby. That's how this works. That was fun, though. That was fun. Shooting over to Dave's RC for a little bit and then coming back. But like I was saying, for Dave, I'll give it up a little bit because he did send me the Bigfoot. And then, when I was recording the Bigfoot video, I just completely forgot to mention Dave's RC during the video, and I feel like a schmuck. But I put him down in the comments. You know what? Guys, I can't do this. I can't do this now, but I'll tell you. Let's look at this thing because, man, why not, man? All the other air channels are talking about freaking cars now. I'm doing it. We're talking about cars. Dang it. So, just so you guys that see Ryan talking about Creighton this or Creighton that, we're gonna flip it over here a little bit, and we're gonna take a look at exactly what it is that Ryan's talking about. What's up, Kenny? Don William, Willman, Don Willman. Hello, sir. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the show. He did have a big old knife that night, Josh. I remember that. So, this big beast is what Ryan is talking about that he's driving around. And I wish that they sold it in something other than a ready-to-run model, because I want this truck. I want this Creighton 4S. And I've shown you guys this. It wasn't that long ago that hold on. It wasn't that long ago that I was in like this Facebook video, and Victor Shamulus was there. So me and Victor and several other people, we were all watching this live show with the Spectrum Smart group, Smart Technology group on Facebook. They were having like this video, and I answered some trivia question. They were like, what car do we have that has this particular ESC in it that's for sale right now? And I went and did some searching, and I found it, and they sent me this because I won the trivia. So they sent me this 130 amp Firma ESC for free. And I don't have a truck or a car or nothing to put it in anymore. All my cars and trucks, I got rid of them. And it's like, man, now I gotta get a car. So I started looking around, and I was like, man, that Creighton 4S, that is like the perfect vehicle to put this 130 amp ESC in. So now I can have like some smart technology going on in cars and trucks, or cars and airplanes. So, I feel like I have to get this Creighton. Yeah, Victor, I was there, man, and that was awesome. And I remember like the first guy that won like an 80 amp Avian ESC which I could actually use today. And when I won, and he was like, "Oh man, I don't have any airplanes." And I wish I could remember who it was because I'd send him a message on Facebook and be like, "Bro, you want to trade? I'll send you this 130 amp Firma if you send me that 80 amp Avian ESC." Um, but what I want to do though is I want to get this Creighton, but because it's RTR, it comes with a bunch of stuff that you don't need. And maybe they give it to you for free. Maybe the truck is actually worth $400. But I'm going to have to rip out the receiver, the ESC, basically throw the radio in the trash. So I'm going to have this thing, and then I got to get, 4S hard case batteries, smart batteries, because, why go with anything else? And I got to get, I'll probably get like a DX5C or a DX5 Pro, surface transmitter. I got to get the smart receiver. I've already got the ESC, and I got to get the truck. So when you add all that stuff up, man, for me to be able to actually put this ESC in anything is going to cost me like $600 or $700. I'll just buy it one piece at a time, but uh, by the time I have saved up $700 to be able to get that truck and all the stuff that goes with it, it's going to be flying season again, man. And I've got planes that I want to get too, like that P-51. And like I still, like I was saying before Dave so graciously jumped in. See you later, Wes. Have fun with Lori. Oh, I got you, Ryan. I know where to click those links now. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff, man, that I gotta get. Um, Wes is wrapping it up. Yeah, I've already got, man. I would, Victor, but I've got. I just bought a house, man, and I'll tell you, I've never had so much debt all at once ever in my life. So, I'm trying not to put myself further in debt, especially with, $700 worth of car parts that I can just pay off over a couple of months. I mean, I know the Affirm thing is kind of a cool deal, but man, I would rather just pay for it when I can afford it instead of putting myself deeper in debt. Bobby K, how you feeling, brother? You were sick on Saturday, huh? Hopefully you're feeling better tonight. Thanks for stopping by the show, guys. But hey, you know, one of the things that I will tell you is like even though the channel's not monetized, for those who just got here and we're not here at the beginning of the show, we just passed 200 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for continuing to watch our content, to come to these live shows. That's awesome. Thank you guys. Um, and I'll say it once during every live show. Um, in my description for the live show and in the description for all my videos, I always tell you to go look there for for links to the products or the web pages or whatever we're looking at. There's also a description in there for my PayPal link. So if you guys want to to donate to the show, all the money that gets donated goes right back into the show. And the first purchase that I made with contributions from from the folks that come and subscribe to the channel. I won't say any names, but that's what paid for the lights for the studio. And I think they look pretty good. I know that there's probably not a lot of differences, but I think that the quality of the video is much better than it used to be. I guess the opinion's still out on that one. But what do you guys think? Did the lights work? Do they make things look better? Josh Weaver, that's funny. Patrick, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, the lights, surprisingly, I was thinking that they were just going to blow everything out. And what was going on was the camera that I use has really good low light, what do they call that? Like low light compensation. So it was able to adjust quite a bit. So even though it doesn't look that much different, what was happening is every time that it would, drop down to do low light compensation, it was having to change ISO levels and stuff like that. People that know photography know all about that weird stuff, but it was having to make a lot of changes and the resolution was getting really crappy. So what's happened now is, with the addition of the lights, the camera's actually able to stream at its full resolution, which is only like 1080p at 30 seconds, but it works a lot better. Hey, thanks, Bobby K. It's hard to look this good. It really is, man. Awesome, Bobby K. Patrick, I have talked about the eFlight P51, but we're going to talk about it again since you mentioned it and you haven't been here. By the way, guys, Racer X600RR, that is Patrick Crosdale. You guys have seen him in the Motion RC videos. You saw him in my T33 video that I did. Awesome dude. He was a C-130 pilot with the U.S. Air Force. He's a real pilot, which is awesome. So we are going to talk about, I know the silver's looking even better. The silver looks even better with all these crazy lights shining on it. We're going to talk about that P51 again, dude. And Patrick, before the release of that P51, I actually, he had mentioned to me probably a couple of months ago, he had an old Crow, one of the Flightline or Free Wing, shit, that's a Free Wing plane, one of the Free Wing old Crows that he had mentioned, that if I was interested in it to let him know. And it's been about 2-3 weeks ago that I was like, hey man, do you have that old Crow still? And he was like, no, I sold it. I'm like, ah, damn it. And then, eFlight drops this bomb of a Mustang, just out of nowhere, a big bad 1500 millimeter big Mustang. I mean, it's not huge, but that thing is such a beast. And it's got all the crazy stuff that I'm all about in it already, man. You guys know that I'm all about this smart technology. That that I'm full up, man. I've got the smart batteries, I've got the smart checker, I've got the smart chargers, I've got the iX12. I'm ready to get in business with some smart everything. So give me a plane with a smart receiver. Give me a plane with a smart ESC. I mean, as soon as they drop that P51, I already want a P51, and then, come on, bro. Like, what? As soon as Ryan started dropping the links, and I think that Horizon dropped their links for their video, probably about 20 minutes before Ryan's went live. But theirs didn't have any flight, it was just, well, it did, but nobody was really talking about it. And I'm like, is this it? Is this P51 the deal? And then Ryan comes on, with his videos, introducing it and looking at the construction and everything. I mean, what a nice plane. And because I'm already kind of in the market for a P51 anyway, man, like I know that FMS is out there and it's only $300 or whatever, but I'm gonna put all the smart stuff in it anyway. So I'm right back to $499. So I'm gonna get, I'm gonna get this Mustang, and I'm happy to pay the price. Like let's feed me, Seymour, feed me. It's a nice plane. I dig the color scheme. Fred, that is smart. SMRT. Oh, and it's yes, 6S. So I don't have to go out and buy a bunch of new batteries because I've already got some 6S smart batteries. The deer, the deer gore, the gear door sequencing on the new Mustang is awesome. Um, MSJ 143, I don't know what lipo they're doing with that bundle package. Do you know which one they're doing? Are they doing the 5050C or the 30C? So, Patrick, did you see the? I think it may have been in Ryan's live show, so I don't know how often you jump in those, but someone had made the comment, and that apparently the paint scheme that Horizon used for this P51 is it's of a P51 that's out on like the demo circuits, right? So it goes out to air shows and things like that. And apparently it is a World War II paint scheme, but the guy that did the airplane when he was painting it, he painted it using an old photo, so everything kind of looked blue, but it was actually supposed to be olive drab. So there is a little bit of historical, even though it's a refinished airplane, there is some reasoning behind their decision to go with blue instead of olive drab, and it was kind of a mistake or whatever you want to call it of a guy going off a historical photo, and it was so old, that the plane looked blue in the pictures. So he painted it blue, only to find out that the plane was actually olive drab during the war. So, go figure. I think that's kind of a neat story, and I'm still gonna get it, man, and it's still gonna be blue, and I'm gonna love it. It's got the invasion stripes, man. You can put invasion stripes on anything, and I'm gonna be freaking tickled with it. The Havoc, for example, it doesn't have true invasion stripes, but it still has that big, wide, white and black pattern, stripe pattern on the bottom, and I just dig the crap out of that on any airplane, but especially like any of the Allied birds from World War II, like Spitfires with invasion stripes, Mustangs with invasion stripes, P-47s, P-38s. Then you put invasion stripes on anything, and you're tugging at my heartstrings, man. I want it. I want it with the invasion stripes. I think it looks awesome. Bobby K, you gonna go and steal that plane from Ryan and take it on some flights? We want to see the Bobby K inverted pass with the with the horizontal stabilizer about an inch off the ground. Pterodactyl, you're not late. Um, you're not late. We actually were interrupted for a little bit while Dave's RC went live. He was having some difficulties with the retracts. Go figure. On the what was that, a FW 190 that he got from Hobby King? Apparently he bought a FW 190 off of Amazon, and it's got bad retracts. Go figure. Hobby King quality. Hooyah, Hobby King. Victor, did you break the record? Or did you tie the record for lowest inverted flight ever? The next shipment, George Watts, they haven't even gotten the first shipment. So everything that I'm hearing would suggest that they should have that Mustang in the next couple of weeks. That it should start shipping, I think by the end of January. Ah, James, what is going on, man? We're gonna throw a blue wrench over at James. So James, I got to tell you, the show you did with the Boozers last night, that was a lot of fun to watch, man. I really enjoyed that. The race to put together the T-33, that was a pretty good idea. I really don't know what Wes was thinking racing you when you've already put one together, and you really laid the smackdown on him. So congratulations, James, on beating the tar out of Wes last night. That was pretty funny. So James, you may have come in at a well. I mean, you probably heard what we were talking about. It's not like you came in here and started freaking, you know, yeah, and started typing as soon as you came in. But we were talking about your nemesis, the E-flite P-51, and at least what I think, man, I think that that's a fantastic plane. And it's right up what I was looking for as far as the next plane goes. I was, trying to get Patrick's old Crow. He sold it. And then when they came out with this P-51, I was like, oh my God, that's the Mustang I need right there. So, you know, sorry, Motion won't get my money on this round, but they'll probably get it on the next one. So, in fact, I can already tell you, like after the P-51, my next plane has to be the F-22. It has to be because it was when I bought my first EDF, I remember my wife saying to me like, so prior to moving to Atlanta, like in 2015, we moved back to Atlanta, and that's when I started flying. Well, actually, it was 2016, I think. November of 2016 that I bought my first apprentice. That was my first plane. And for those of you guys that don't know, back when I bought that apprentice, that's when I first met Patrick, and he's actually the guy that taught me how to fly RC. So, thank you, Patrick. You definitely put the bug in me, man. Um, and I remember when I was talking to him back then, I was like, like I don't want to fly propeller planes forever, and would always ask him advice of like, okay, so what do I need to do next because I want to fly EDFs. I want to fly EDFs. And he always gave me good advice, man. And it was probably like 2 years of flying propeller planes before I ever flew an EDF. But I knew when the time was right, it was right. And now I've got like six EDFs. But I remember when I got my first one. So prior to moving back to Atlanta, Amy and I, my wife, we lived out in Pearl Harbor. I was working at Pearl Harbor for the Navy, and we lived right. Our neighborhood, which was in Eva Beach, if you ever like look at a map of Oahu, our backyard was right on the final approach pattern for Hickam Air Force Base and Honolulu International Airport. Hickam Air Force Base and Honolulu International share a runway. So we'd have like airliners flying behind the house all day long. But they also had a big squadron of F-22s that all were part of the Hawaii National Guard. And Man, as soon as they transit, we were there for the transition from F-15s to F-22s, and my wife would sit out there and just watch those planes and be like, "Look, they have Batman butts," and I thought that was pretty funny. And before getting my first plane or my first EDF, we actually went to the Jolly Good Fly-In this year up in Dalton, Georgia, and that was the first big RC event that Amy had gone with me to see. And when I was telling her, like, "Hey, this is what kind of these are the kind of planes that Motion RC has available. I mean, these are like the Jet Kings." And she saw an F-22, and she's like, "They've got the Batman butt plane." I don't know why she calls it the Batman butt plane, but she does. And you know, ever since then, you know, she's like, "When are you gonna get the Batman plane? When are you gonna get the Batman plane?" So now I've got all these EDFs, and I still haven't gotten an F-22. So uh, you know, my next plane purchase will absolutely be that P-51 because I'm in a Mustang kind of mood right now anyway, and blue happens to be one of my favorite colors. If you haven't noticed, like, I got the blue table cover, the blue lights, the blue shirt, the blue angel. I got a lot of blue happening here. So yeah, after I get that P-51, you know, I got to go back to the original plan of buying the F-22 because it is a great plane. I'm probably only going to get the 6S version. I don't feel like I need 8S speed. I'm pretty freaking happy, you know, with any jet that can maintain flight. I don't fly a bunch of acrobatics and stuff anyway. I'm much more of a scale flyer. So if the 6S can do scale flying and I don't need it to have unlimited vertical, I'll be perfectly happy with that. And I've seen plenty of the of the 6S F-22s out the field flying. They all look like they fly great. So yeah, James, it was terrible, man. I was there for about 16 years over my course of working with the Navy, both active duty and as a contractor. Um, so yeah, we were pretty happy. We were pretty happy in Hawaii, but you know the thing is, I had a bunch of family here in Hawaii, and not to get like sentimental or soft on you guys, but you know, one of my nephews was born and died, and I never got to meet him, never saw him, um, and he was like 15 years old when he passed, and it was just time, man. We'd been away from home for so long that it was time to come home, and all my family's here in Georgia, so we just moved back home, man. As much as you know, I would love to be in Hawaii. Um, we're really happy here in the Atlanta area. Uh, you know, the house that we're living in is way better than the house we had in Hawaii. Not so much from you know, a a quality of life aspect, but it's just a much bigger bigger home for half the price. You know, go figure. Hawaii real estate is asinine, and uh, I did not make enough there to afford to pay, you know, six or $700,000 for a 1,200 square foot home, and it just didn't make any sense. So we're back here in Atlanta, and and we're happy. So James, you were saying get the F-22. Get the F-22, get the ARF Plus, and put the 1835 in runner in it. Does the F-22 have a does the F-22 have an outrunner in its stock? Or is it just not as fast? Yeah, George, you can fly year round in Georgia, and thanks, Fred. I appreciate that, man. You can fly year round, um, but you know it does get cold down here, and there are certain times of the year, especially like the like March to May. Your days are going to be few and far between where the wind is kicking at like 20, 30 miles an hour at the field, man. So there are times when things get absolutely crazy, um, and it doesn't make it impossible to fly. Like if you got brass nuts, you can get out there and fly in 20 and 30 mile an hour wind. Um, and I've done it before, especially like with the Avanti. That thing is so freaking locked in, especially with I've got one of the AR-636s in that Avanti, and that thing is just solid. It does not waver at all, and even in high winds, I mean, it buffets a little bit, like it'll get knocked around a little, but for the most part, man, it just cuts through anything. So, I've got planes now that are a little better suited for flying in high wind situations like that. But even with that said, flying is fine in high winds. But when you're trying to land, in a 20 mile an hour crosswind, I don't care what kind of gyro you got, that's going to be hard. So, you know, I tend to stay home when the winds are kicking that much. The F-22 has an outrunner stock, and it's more than fine, but I rusted the stock motor and had the in runner on hand and popped it in here and loved it. So, James, was that on the F-22 that is now, no longer with us? That some fucking asswipe from Joe Knoll still has? Or did you get another F-22? Sorry, guys. I shouldn't be cursing like that, but when it comes to what happened to Joe Knoll with the freaking airplanes getting stolen, yeah, fucking dicks. Who the hell would do that, man? So the F-22, if I were to do that, like get the ARF Plus model and drop that 1835 in runner, what with like a 12 blade unit? Um, is that the same thing that like the F-18 has in it? Is that, or is the F-18? No, the F-18 is an in runner. Is that the same in runner that they're running in the F-18? Oh, that person deserves more than an ass beating, GB. Like, and it didn't just take one. Like, dude, come on, man. And I'm not saying that like taking one is any better than taking two, but like, did you really need to fucking steal both? Like, what an ass. Hate that guy. I don't even know the guy, but I hate him. Whoever did that would just really. How low can you go, man? Just what a bunch of crap. Oh, and I guess I can just look at the specs for the plug and play version of the F-15. Um, or I'm sorry, the plug and play version of the F-22 to figure out what size ESC I need. Probably like 130 amp. Yeah, for real, dude. Like that guy would get who steals a kid's RC plane, right, Patrick? No shit. God. Every time I think about it, I just get more pissed off. And it's not even my plane, but it's just the community is so strong between all of us, that like and like is that why that asshole went to Joe Knoll was to steal airplanes? Like was he not even part of this community? Does he not talk to us? Does he not get that this is one of the greatest communities on the freaking planet? The community of RC pilots. Man, I haven't met. Well, I take that back. There's been a couple that have been kind of weenies, but seriously, like high 90 percentile. You know, 98%, 99% of the people that I meet in this community are just awesome guys, man. And to think that there was somebody that was intermixing with our community with the intent of being a thief and trying to fucking get a five-finger discount on an F-22 with like the coolest freaking lighting I've ever seen on a jet and a kid's plane. Now, maybe he didn't know, that it was a kid's plane, but it doesn't matter, man. It's the principle of the issue. Like, what a dick. Why did that guy go to Joe Knoll? Why? He didn't need to go to Joe Knoll. Like, motherfucker. Uh, you would have, not just you, James, there'd have been a lot more people than you getting arrested, dude, because I'm pretty sure that there would have been a gang of people riding on that dude, freaking punching him, kicking him. The guy would have walked out looking like he just got fucking beat down on the streets of Chicago. You wouldn't have been alone. You know, they'd have had to bring the whole paddy wagon out there. I mean, let me find a motherfucker that tries to steal someone's airplane at Joe Knoll, one of the biggest damn RC events in the country. God. It will too, Fred. Someday, somehow, like that guy is going to get his. And GB, if we find him and we get that bitch on the ground, he'll definitely be getting teabagged. After I knock his damn teeth out with a wrench, I'm just going to go get, like, some of them nasty, old, like, rusty, pliers and just start pulling his teeth out one by one and then just start dropping the tea bags in. Bloop, bloop, bloop. It's going to look like World of Warcraft when I was playing PvP 15 years ago on World of Warcraft and teabagging everybody. Would it be a lot like Joe Pesci in Casino? A 91 four-stroke. What size motor is that? A .91. I think what is a 160 is a 30cc, right? So what's that? What's that? Like a 12, 15cc motor? Yeah, Ryan. Dude, lay his ass on the ground and let Ryan freaking lawn dart a have it. It might kill him. I ain't gonna lie, dude. Like you wrecked that. You wrecked that havoc really good. That'd probably kill a bitch. Oh man. Anyway, let's try. I hope you ran out of room, James, and that there's more to the story than that. So I used to have a lot of nitro cars, but the motors in a car are a lot different. They're a lot smaller, so um, If what you're looking for is like the damn, James, stab a bitch in the hand with a pencil. Yeah, so if what you're looking for, are you looking to Wild Bill? Are you looking to keep the gas motor in the plane, or are you looking for the electric equivalent, like how to get that? Because I can tell you right now, that's almost certainly going to be at least a 6S setup, um, and a big old can for a motor. In fact, you know, if we use the tool that I was using before, we can probably get a pretty good idea if you tell me like the size of the motor mounts, the size of the airplane, like the total length of the airframe, um, the chord of the wings at the wing root and the tip, um, total length of the wings, and we can start getting like the total surface area of the wings, how much the wing loading is going to be. Is it a low wing? Is it a high wing? What the total length is, what the weight is fully loaded. And we can look that up, and we can use that eCalc program to figure out, what size ESC you're going to need, you know, what size battery you're going to need, where, what size motor, ESC, battery, and prop to get that plane, to a respectable performance that you'd be happy with. Right, right, right. Yeah, I don't think you want to run gas, right? You want to shift it over to electric. 55-inch. Is it a balsa plane? I would assume it is if it's gas. And it's a Waco, so it's a big biplane. 55-inch. Hmm. Yeah, so you should be able to do, yeah, there's definitely a path to going electric on that airplane. So he'll be all right. In fact, because it's a biplane, um, you you may want to go with like a 4S setup. I was gonna say you could probably get away with like the same power system that they're running in like the P2 Prometheus pits. I just love that plane though, so I'm kind of biased towards it. But I would think with a biplane, you're gonna have enough wing loading. Like the wing loading would be light enough that you could get away with a heavier power system, and just using like a lower kV motor. And put like a big, like a 13 or 14-inch prop on it, and just. But I'm spitballing right now, so um, yeah, I'd have to look up the specs of the plane. Oh, James, what size is that thing? Like 78-inch? That's gonna be a big spit. Did it come in multiple boxes, or did they jam it all in like one box? Oh, 78 inches. God, that's a big old plane. Oh yeah, are you going to be doing your live show every Friday afternoon now? Because you're not going to have time to put it together. You know, you're only going to have time to like take it out of the box and that's it. You know, but if they do just as good a job as they've done with all of the other Black Horse models with the covering and all of that stuff, you know, I've been pretty impressed with what I've seen. Even though, you know, like Patrick took his, you know, perfectly good looking plane and ripped all the covering off of it and recovered it, you know, to make the you know, the T62 or whatever it is that he made. And I'll tell you, I mean, that's a great looking plane, Patrick. Don't get me wrong. It just seems kind of funny that 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 you'd rip all the covering off of a brand new airplane, but the end result was fantastic. Totally worth it. Jeff West, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, man? Yeah, that T6 Texan 2 is an awesome looking airplane, guys. If you haven't seen that, you know, go check out the Motion RC fan flight video for Patrick's T6 Texan 2. And that thing turned out awesome. And like even the pilot has like super extra scale. He did, you know, between the covering work and, you know, just the small details and the flight characteristics of that plane, that is one awesome aircraft. That thing turned out really nice. So, you know, great job on that whole thing, Patrick. Awesome. Um, so yeah, I think that, shut up. The, man, 78 inches. Is that the same size as that, as the Pilates? Or Pilates? Is that how you say that? That sounds weird. Nice, Josh. Like, is that T6 Texan 2 you did up, Patrick? Is that the same size? Is that like a 78-inch plane? Is that'd be about the same? Yeah, that's like a 2.1 meter, 2 meter, 2.1 meter. Yeah, so but Black Horse. You know, after you add all the servos and everything, that's like a freaking that's $1,000 airplane. I'll throw up a little bit, but I love Spitfires. Oh, does it tell you what motor to get, Wild Bill, in the specs? They might have like an electric conversion kit too, with like a different firewall and stuff like that you can put up in the front of the model. So if they're still selling, you know, the parts and pieces, you might want to look into that so you don't have to make anything custom from where you pull the gas motor out. Um, you know that you can, and I mean a lot of electrics will mount right up to where the gas motors mount anyway, depending on how the gas motor mounts in there. Um, but you know, if you need to get a new firewall for it, those guys probably sell it. So, woo, James, all you guys, man, all these people that make these damn airplanes. So, you know, Black Horse, Free Wing, Flight Line, E Flight, you know, HSD sometimes. Man, everybody comes out with these awesome planes. Flex Innovations has some awesome planes, you know, and it's hard to want them all. You know, I just don't make enough money to want them all. I make plenty of money to want them all, but I don't make enough money to have them all. So I got to be really picky. Yeah, Hager 9 too, man. Uh, so you know, because I do love Spitfires, and I want, you know, I'd love to have a big old Spitfire. Like that might be the one I get. You know, big fat black horse Spitfire that I can. Yeah, I can see that happening too. Have the big 1500 Mustang, big nasty big Spitfire. Oh, I'll cry a little bit after I'm done paying for it. You know, and that puts the Creighton, you know, a little further down the road. It might be next winter before I get that Creighton, fellas. The CSC is gonna be sitting in the box for a while. There's too many. There's too many good airplanes coming out right now to spend $400 on a truck. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I have a sweet spot for Spitfires, and hopefully it will fly, you know, so good and stable that I won't have to worry so much about like the really narrow landing gear that Spitfires are just known for. Um, you know that it would you could bring it in, you know, real nice and easy because it's such a huge airframe, you know. And I think the balsas, you know, I mean, as long as you take care of, well, all of those Black Horse models have pretty good parts availability. So even if you skin it up, I mean, as easy as it is to repair, as long as you don't like physically break it and turn it into splinters, um, it's not that bad, you know, replacing covering. But at least what I've noticed with those Black Horse models is I don't know how they pull it off. I don't know if the covering comes like pre-printed with all the panel lines and riveting and all of that stuff on it, and you know the guy that they have applying the covering, or ladies, or children, you know, whoever they got working them. um, you know, like they have to be so precise in putting that covering on that they're just very impressive planes. I dig the crap out of them. Yeah, and you know, I'm not that worried about the flight characteristics of the Spitfire. You know, and one of the reasons that I got the Commander um, instead of like a Warbird is because I love the look of a Spitfire. I love like the big, long elliptical wings. Like I'm not a fan of the clipped wing Spitfire because I think that one of the defining features of a Spitfire is the big elliptical wings. You know, why would you want to take that off? So I don't like the clipped wing Spitfire. I like the big, long elliptical wing Spitfire, and I like you know the tail feathers. I think look awesome. You know, just the whole shape of the airframe, everything about it. You know, the later variants, you know, as you're getting into like the Mark Nines, when they started putting the Merlin engines in them and they just started sounding just mean as shit. Um, what a bad airplane, man. That was an awesome plane. Too bad the British haven't figured out how to make anything that awesome since then, right? Sorry, I'm just kind of checking out the chat here. Well, we got a decent crowd of folks, everybody. Hey, make sure that you hit the thumbs up for the video, guys. I really appreciate it when everybody's able to hit that thumbs up button, because at least for the most part, like a lot of times we have more thumbs up than we have people in the room, and that's pretty awesome for these live shows. So thanks everybody, you know, for coming and checking it out. Yeah, so you know, eventually I'm gonna have to sit down and like write all this crap down where I've got like, all right, so my next one's gonna be this Mustang, and then after that I'm gonna get this F-22, And I hope nobody else releases anything else because this Spitfire looks like it's definitely going to be on my radar. You know, it's it's like the big you know, the life choices and dilemma that I'm going to be facing as I'm trying to decide, you know, do I really want this Spitfire? This other new plane came out too, and I really want that. Whatever. I just need to stick my guns right and like have a roadmap of the planes I'm getting this year, and I think that's my next three. I think I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna drop the ball and get this great big, you know, great big. Oh, I'm getting some messages. these these are all pictures that I've seen before, but I do get it, and I was really trying not to have any portion of my house look this ridiculous, but I can feel it happening. I can feel it happening, and you know, for now, you know, I've been trying to like stick to like one plane every month or so, and with all these new releases, man, it's hard to get just one. You know, it's like people that eat what are those potato chips? The Lay's potato chips. Nobody can eat just one. That's how these planes are, man. They get you. That's what we're all about, Wild Bill. That's what we're all about. We're all about, you know, helping out the community, helping out, you know, folks who are, you know, either new to the hobby or people that are working on a different type of airplane than they've had in the past. Uh, everything. I I am right now, Patrick. I had to slow down while we were buying a house, but now that the house is bought and you know we don't have another umpteen. Well, I mean it was a VA loan, so we didn't have to come up with like a huge down payment, but there was still a lot of money involved in buying a house. Um, so now that that's kind of out of the way, you know we can get back to our regular schedule. Yep, and you know we still have to plan a time, and maybe we can do like a special stream on a weekend or something. You know, I wouldn't want to do it on a Saturday or really on a Sunday because you know Ryan's on Saturdays and the Boozers are on Sundays. You know, maybe we can find a time when when Dave's RC. You know, when there's no plan for Dave's RC to go live on a Friday. You know, but we gotta get you know James and Patrick on one of these streams. Maybe not together at the same time, but you know, get them out for one of the shows. We'll have some live, you know, guest appearances every now and then. That'd be really cool. Especially when there's new releases and stuff like that, and people want to hear about how they fly. Because I can't buy them all. I can't fly them all. But the guys who do fly them and the guys who do buy them, I know those folks. So we can have a lot of fun, guys. Um, man, there's always so much to talk about, but I think I got yeah. Me too, Patrick. Me too, buddy. Um, I'm gonna need to probably call it for the night. But thank you guys so much. You know, especially after Dave going live and all of us kind of migrating over there and watching him, you know, mourn over the dead retracts on his Hobby King airplane. Like, what else did you expect to happen? Uh, So that'd be awesome, James. I'll hit you up, man. You know, we'll wait until after you guys get this big giant Spitfire built. Maybe you can bring that big giant Spitfire over and we'll put it on the table behind me, man. And we'll talk about it because that'd be an awesome show. Anyway, thank you guys for coming out. We'll figure out something at some point. We'll do some special things, and we've definitely got more stuff coming here in the very near future. I keep talking about this AR636 video, and I've had so much stuff with our old house that keeps coming up that prevents me from being able to really dig in and get it done. That is going to get finished this week. We're going to have a whole series on programming the AR636 receiver, and it's going to be kick-ass. So anyway, stay tuned for that. If you're not a subscriber to the channel already, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification icon, and I'll throw it out there again. If you guys want to support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description. You don't have to leave anything, but we certainly appreciate any contributions, and we throw it all back into the channel for more great content. So you guys, thank you for coming out. Thanks for coming back after the Dave's RC interruption. I love you guys, and we will see you guys next week on Air Marshal Mondays. Have a good night, guys.